problem 3 of the review mock exam. Um, this is a little bit different than the ones we've seen before also, but the approach again is the same. Consider the function f of x equals 1.25 minus a to the negative x, where a is a positive constant and x is greater than or equal to 0. The diagram shows a sketch of the graph. The graph intersects the y-axis at point A, and the line L is its horizontal asymptote. This is upside down compared to most of the exponential functions we've seen so far, but don't let that worry you. As usual, the first thing you're going to do is, since we do have an equation, we want to plug it in the calculator, but you see that, oops, we can't because there's a variable in it. Whenever you have a variable like this in there, you have to figure out what the variable is first. So what we're going to do is use the clues they give us to figure out what a is equal to. First, we're going to follow their lead. They say find the y-coordinate of A. A is the initial point. The big clue with A is that A is located at x equals 0, right? And in the words of Doninia, when x is 0, we'll put 0 in here. Guess what a to the 0 is? It's 1, right? So 1.25 minus 1. So we know that y is equal to 0.25 when x equals 0. So guess what? A's height is 0.25. Okay. So we just figured out what the y-coordinate of A is. The x-coordinate of A, of course, is x equals 0, right? So that is A. Point 2, 1 lies on the graph. They don't exactly show us where that is, but you know, this graph isn't that exact. So let's say it's right there, 2, 1. Okay, 2, 1. Calculate the value of A. So here they're giving us a clue as to what the value of A is. Let's write the function out again. F of x equals 1.25 minus a to the negative x. They just said that there is a point, 2, 1. So x equals 2, y equals 1. I could just plug those in here. So y equals 1, f of x is 1, equals 1.25 minus a to the negative, and x is 2, right? So a to the negative 2. Now the tricky part of this is maybe you don't remember anymore what a to the negative 2 is, but a to the negative 2 is actually the same thing as 1 over a squared. So we're going to simplify this. 1 equals 1.25 minus 1 over a squared. Does that look better? Maybe not. Okay, so now let's simplify. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. Get 0 here. We get 0.25 here. We have minus 1a squared. Let's put 1 over a squared on the other side. So we'll add 1 over a squared to both sides. And then we'll have 1 over a squared on the left equals 0.25. Now we're very close to finishing this now. Let's see. There's a couple ways to do this. I don't know which is the easiest way. Let's multiply both sides by a squared, because it's more convenient to have the a squared in the numerator, right? So this turns out to be 1. And on the left side we have 0.25 a squared. Now we can divide both sides by 0.25. Cancels out. 1 over 1.25. 1 over 0.25 is 4. But here we can confirm it with the calculator. Hello, calculator. Okay, 1 divided by 0.25. What do you know? 4. Okay, so basically we have a squared equals 4. Hey, a squared equals 4. Guess what a is equal to? 2. Okay, take the square root of both sides, a equals 2. Okay, so we just figured out what a is. A is 2. Okay, and then finally write down the equation of L. Um, well, there's two ways to do this. One is, remember that whenever you have a constant added to an exponent, the asymptote is the constant. And L, as you can see, is the asymptote. Okay, so that's one way. You could just say, hey, that's 1.25, that's 1.25. The other way you could do it is, you could look at the, now that we know what A is, we can graph it. And then we could just see where it goes. So it's 1.25 minus A, which is 2, to the negative x. Excuse me. Then we do second table, see what the table looks like. Okay, so let's just check the answers we got and make sure everything matches up. So at 0, y equals 0.25. Yeah, that's what we got here. And at 2, y equals 1. Yeah, that's what we got here. So let's see. Let's see what it approaches. Well, it looks like it's approaching 1.25, and actually on the calculator it actually hits it. But so the L value is 1.25. Okay, so that was the last answer. Now, let's say you're bad at algebra and you can't do this. Well, you know, you can use and abuse your calculator in math studies. You don't have to do this with algebra. Since, you know, there's not a lot of possibilities for the value of A, you could sit there guessing values and you'll get it. Okay, so let's say that when you come to this problem, you're like, I don't want to do the algebra, and there's only one number to figure out, so, you know, why don't I just, like, guess a few values, right? So, like, you know, normally 1 would be a good value to guess. So, you know, you have everything here. You don't know what A. Instead of putting A, you could put 1, and then you could see what you get. And then what you see here is that, let's see, what we're shooting for is the point 2 comma 1, right? So we'll see what we get for 2. 2. Okay. Oops. It doesn't really do anything, does it? So an A value of 1 is kind of useless. It's not even, it doesn't even look exponential, right? It's because when you multiply 1 by itself so many times, it doesn't do anything. So we need to make something that's not 1. Let's go back again. So we could make it bigger than 1, or we could make it smaller than 1. So let's try, I don't know, let's try 0.5. Oops, parentheses, delete. Okay, and then now we'll look at that, see how that is. 0.25, so far so good. 2 comma, oops, it's negative. I think we're going in the wrong direction. Let's try something else. So we tried 1, that was useless. So let's do 1.5. 1.5. Okay. Let's see how we get close to 2 comma 1. 2 comma, we're getting kind of close there, right? So now let's try a new value. And you know, the disadvantage of doing this is it probably takes us slightly longer than doing the algebra. But I mean, if you have the time, let's put 2.0 instead. Oops, I just went to the table. Hey, what do you know? 2 comma 1. Okay, so do you see that in like 3 guesses we got it? So that is a valid thing to do if you are just not able to do the algebra. Okay, that's it for this problem.